Broadcasting from a secret location, it's Smoking Sounds, the ultimate podcast for cigar and pipe enthusiasts and those looking to embark on a journey where smoke intertwines with sound. Proud member of the PCA.
Yo.
What's up, everybody? I'm Sean, one of the hosts, and joining me is a man who needs no introduction. He once put the Iron Sheik in the camel clutch himself. It's Justin.
Hello, everybody. That's right. We are, by the time this episode gets released, we are going to be well on our way to WrestleMania. And so we're definitely, we have wrestling on our minds, but right now, we are at a secret, undisclosed location, and we're talking to some very special people, and we hope you guys are going to really enjoy this. And but before we get all around, also making her debut, getting ready for her steel cage match at Wrestling Fabuloso. It's Paige Turner.
That's right.
Glad to be back. Thank you.
And as you guys know, we have used the band Tenkiller's music several times.
That's right.
Opening the show. We absolutely love these guys, and they have been so gracious to the podcast. And so we are very honored to welcome Mr. Mike Lewis and Mr. Billy from the band Tenkiller. I was going to say Billy Powers, but I wasn't sure if that was his last name or not.
Billy Power.
Billy, whoever.
Hey, Billy.
And then I thought, well, maybe it's just Billy, the bass player. But no.
I like that better.
So I am so thankful, one, for the opportunity for you guys to allow us to play your music on our show. We are such big fans, and we thank you for taking the time to sit down with us. So welcome to Tulsa, and thank you so much for joining us here on Smoking Sounds. So Mike, we'll let you go first. You tell us a little bit about yourself, and then Billy, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of get into some questions.
Well, first of all, I have to confront you guys because I think you owe me a check for playing the song so much, right?
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? JK.
We have a small fee.
That's okay.
JK. Yeah. So thank you for having us on, and
He immediately turned the music off.
No, that was
yeah. Screw this thing. Yeah.
anything under 30 seconds, we don't owe any royalties on, right?
The minute he said anything about getting paid, I'm like, he turned off the music.
Yeah.
No, thank you for having us here. Glad to be here in Tulsa, in my childhood home state of Oklahoma.
Yep.
So glad to be here. I'm an Okie. So, yeah, I don't know. What was your question to introduce myself?
Yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself. So you guys are here in town tonight to play at Thelma's Peach with Mr. R.R. Williams and Emily
Davis.
Yes. And the show, doors are at 8, shows at 9.
Yeah.
And you guys were in Oklahoma City last night, so you're just kind of making the run through Oklahoma here. And just tell us a little bit about how Tenkiller got started, and then we'll let Billy kind of fill in a little bit along the way.
Yeah. Do you know stuff, Bill?
Not really.
No.
Okay. Yeah. We'll make it up. We always do.
I think they felt bad that I was here and they wanted to include me, and that's very
not at all.
Oh, man.
No, we are so thankful that you're here.
Well, hold up your phone. I'm going to text you all the things you need to be saying.
Okay, good. Okay. I'll look out for that text.
Okay, excellent. Hey, so Mike Lewis here. I grew up in Oklahoma. And I had a band called For Love Not Lisa out of Oklahoma City. We had several members, Aaron Preston and Clint McVeigh and Miles. And we got a record deal in Los Angeles back in the 90s and signed by East West Records, which is part of Atlantic. We were label mates with AC/DC and Pantera.
Wow,
and the one that I like to throw out there because it does not fit is in Vogue. And
wow.
One time we were making a music video and In Vogue was in the practice room next to us, and so I walked over and I'm like, hey, can we get a picture? So there's a picture of us somewhere with members of In Vogue. And so our claim to fame, and the only reason any of your listeners would ever even know who the heck we are, is we had a song on the movie The Crow.
Okay.
And that soundtrack went on to do triple platinum.
Yeah.
And I sold about 5 of those. So I'm really proud of those 5 that I sold. I actually sold them I stood out front of a record store and convinced people to buy them just so I can get that. We were at, we were just under that million mark. And then I said, if you buy one more, we can get platinum. So Henry Rollins and The Cure and Stone Temple Pilots, all those people should be thankful that I stood outside Rainbow Records and
Rainbow Records.
Wow.
Yeah, in Oklahoma City and convinced someone to buy that soundtrack. So
Wow. I was going to say Hastings, but I don't think they don't even have Hastings anymore.
No, they're all gone, unfortunately. But so then fast forward, we made 2 albums. We toured with everyone from Stone Temple Pilots to Rage Against the Machine. And I told this story the other day talking to the Historical Society about a little unknown band, a little ska band that had this little blonde singer in Chicago. And they were like, who is this band? And it's like, it was No Doubt.
Oh, wow.
And before they
man.
were very big. So we played with everyone, and kind of the running joke in our band that if you wanted to become huge, all you had to do was play with Phil Not Lisa while we stayed exactly the same level.
So you guys stayed and everybody else went.
That's right. So we were kind of like how casinos will send in a cooler when a table gets hot to make, everyone lose money. We were the other way. If you wanted to become a famous band, you needed to tour with Phil Not Lisa so that you would go to that next level. So, again, all those bands owe us a lot of thank yous.
And the time when you were doing For Love Not Lisa, I mean, that was before, Garage Band and all this stuff. So you guys had to kind of earn that the old fashioned way, right?
We did it the hardest way possible, playing every tiny nightclub in Los Angeles, California, from playing Whiskey a Go-Go at 4:00 in the afternoon, or Coconut Teaser, while I can look out the window and see people driving home from work, and we are up there, throwing down some music. So
wow, and so was there bands between for Love Not Lisa and Tenkiller, or did you?
Yes, yeah. So when the band ended, I wanted to do something completely different, and so our one of our roadies, this guy named Jeff Riley, who rest in peace, he passed away last year. He was just an amazing person and an incredible drummer, and I was like, I just want to play with that guy. Yeah. So we created a band called Puller, and got signed to Tooth and Nail Records, which is what's going to help introduce
Mr.
Billy Power, because Billy Power was my A&R guy who helped sign us, and we became. And so the label was based in Seattle, and we flew up to Seattle. And I think my very first conversation, like seconds into my conversation, I was like, I'm going to be friends with this guy for the rest of my life. And guess what? Here we are in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That's right.
Playing music together.
That's right. 30 years later. It's crazy.
Oh, 30 years? See,
it's over 30 years.
See, why'd you have to put
I mean, it's fine, man.
a timestamp on it?
Yeah, he was like, a full 2 years ago. Yeah,
That's right. We've aged like
Just
a fine
yesterday.
wine, like a fine wine. Yeah, I loved Mike's previous band, For Love Not Lisa, and that was kind of my thing. I was in a band at the time called Blenderhead, and we were into all that like DC, Discord, kind of mathy, Fugazi, Jawbox, Quicksand, all that kind of stuff. And Polar was very much influenced by that kind of math rock kind of vibe. And so I was very excited. We got this package and had the For Love Not Lisa records and kind of a letter from Mike and whatever. And immediately I was like, yeah, I definitely want to work with this band and whatever. And like he said, we became fast friends and I've been friends ever since. And then that ended horribly, and he's blamed me ever since. And then my penance is to play bass in his new band.
Yes.
I've been paying off this debt forever.
So I got to ask that. So how does doing that kind of stuff? How do you end up being sort of and Apple Music refers to you as a Tenkiller as Red Dirt country. How does that, how do you, punk rockers and whatnot, how does this come out that you're now doing kind of Red Dirt country?
Yeah. Hey, that's a great question. The truth is that I've always been a fan of singer-songwriters, so Ryan Adams. And,
Yes.
I discovered Ryan Adams back when he was in a band called Whiskey Town, and I love those albums. And so I've always had a little bit of that in me, not necessarily hardcore country, although I've learned living in Nashville, I've learned to kind of appreciate country much later in life. Actually inspired by Ken Burns' documentary about the country music, and it's like one of the greatest documentaries. And that thing just really influenced me, and I really came to appreciate the roots of because like country music and black gospel and jazz was all kind of mixed together back in the old days. But fast forward, what kind of got us to this situation is I just really wanted to do something different. I didn't want to repeat myself, and I was just I was listening to a lot of I was listening to the Turnpike Troubadours and Zach Bryan and Tyler Childers, and I was just being really influenced by bluegrass. And it's like, man, I just want to do whatever my thing is I do next. I want it to be completely different, where people maybe who had listened to my bands in the past would just, experience a whole new thing, and not just I'm not trying to rehash the past, but trying to move forward and make something different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And I know Zach Bryan, I know he listens to us sometimes. Well, at least that's what I've been told. But I did invite him to the show tonight. So we'll see if
perfect.
that
You
happens.
never know.
All right,
You never know.
I'll write him down on the list.
On the guest list, we've got his cover covered if he shows up.
Sweet.
So Tooth and Nail, I mean, that's a big record label, especially in Christian punk rock scene. As we were kind of all talking prior to recording MXPX, and I was 90 Pound Wuss. Were they a Tooth and Nail band?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, these, and we were hoping to have R on with us too, which y'all are playing with tonight. We absolutely love Mike, and we'll definitely get some video and stuff of him tonight for the podcast page. But do you miss the punk rock scene at all? The kind of like.
Well, Billy's still in it, and Bill has a band called Spoken in Tongues, so everyone should look that up on iTunes.
Got it.
And Apple, and he's made some really good records that are still in that vein, and he's still exploring that musically, and that's his band. Like he's a singer, songwriter, producer, comes up with the whole concept, and so that is his lifestyle. I still love punk music, and I still go to I'll go to shows, and when I do, I go with Bill. So,
like last year of shows that we went to together, we went to see Tyler Childers in Georgia. We went to see Echo and the Bunnymen in Georgia.
Oh wow!
And then we also went to see the Jesus Lizard together.
Yeah.
So we're across a pretty wide gamut still.
Yeah.
I'm a voracious show attender. Last year, I think I went to almost 50 shows. Including this Irish. I went all the way to Ireland to see this band Kneecap play in Belfast, and gone to a ton of shows, and still going to a ton of shows.
He goes to every show. It's why he's. That's why he's broke. Because
Well, and it's like I love hearing Fugazi brought up, right? Because when I was skating in the late '80s, early '90s, Waiting Room and all that was such great skating music. And now I think about it, and I'm like, if I went to a Fugazi show, I'm definitely looking for like the seated area. Like I just don't, I'm too old now. I can't get out there and thrash around like I used to.
Not gonna be hit the half pipe. Huh?
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think even beyond music, and I don't want to speak for Mike, but I just know that this is true for both of us. We always respected even just the ethics of people, like the way Ian ran Discord Records. Outside of even the musical influence, people like Henry Rollins, and Ian that worked hard, were working class, put out their own records, folded their own sleeves, all that stuff has really informed kind of like what everything we've done, I think, in music and all that kind of stuff. Just kind of, and we're making our own record. We're involved in everything, and I think that's important.
So kind of in a sense, you're kind of going back to your roots because, a lot of these bands and kids nowadays that just go in the room, hit record on GarageBand, they don't understand the, passing out flyers and like you said, writing the song track in a Sharpie on a CD to hand out to people and stuff. So, but you guys kind of have control over your everything now, which is probably nice.
And social media has changed marketing just in general.
Yes.
I was joking the other day. It's like, You know how many times I used to have to take a flyer down to the local record shop and convince the guy to let me put it up on the wall?
Right.
And that's how someone's going to find out if we're playing or not, where it's like now, I mean, the communication, vehicles are just so much more efficient, and it's changed the game. And I'll say this, it's taken, the power was very much in the hands of the people who have record labels, and they were controlling what music gets made, what gets passed, through the system, where now it's like I don't really need a label.
Right.
I can make a record, I can release a record, I can promote the record. And in many cases, because labels, and Billy can tell you because he worked at a label, but labels will, they're using PR companies, and they're using all the same tools that we can use now.
Yeah.
So the only reason to really use a label is if you just want someone to fund your project, and now we're all grown adults with jobs, and so we can fund our own projects. Like I'm not a 16-year-old kid,
who can't get a bank loan.
Right.
Yeah.
and so how do you guys, and obviously, so how do you feel about that nowadays? Because everything is so accessible.
This is Clint. I'm going to let him in.
Definitely.
And
And
this will be great for the podcast to open this door and let him.
Hey, that's okay. So I'll just
Hey, we're just live.
So now that you guys,
Hey, Clint.
you have power over
Clint, everybody. Oh, sorry. Clap right over your talking.
what you put. No, you're fine. So now you guys have complete control over what you put out and what people see, and you're not at the mercy of like a David Geffen or whoever, right? Through the music scene, and but coming up the way probably both of you did, do you miss any of that, having someone to do the promotions, or is it?
No. I'm shaking my like we're both. I'm shaking my head, looking at Billy. He's shaking his head. I would say, first of all, we were clueless. I was 20 when I got a record deal, and we were stupid. We didn't know anything. We made every mistake that was possible, and I didn't even think about who's producing the record and how it produced. I didn't even think about how a show gets promoted. I just showed up and hoped people were going to be there. And so
points and publishing and all these things that you learn later, and you're like, you're going to give me some CDs and they're going to be in stores and you're going to pay for it. Sounds great. Like for us, like I think back in the day, it was more of just like just having that just seemed so crazy to be able to do that. And like we're old enough to remember when you just kind of made your own demo tape. You never had any hope of putting out record commercially or on any label or anything like that. And I think for me, like the struggle for me being on the other side and being in the business, which I always just loathed and hated and still do to this day, is that I didn't really fit in on that thing, being more of an artist and a DIY type person. I had done my own labels and my own things before my time at Tooth and Nail. And so it was hard for me to justify like the lawyers and the contracts and all the things. And I would literally, at one point, I would just tell bands, listen, I want to sign your band. I'm going to sign your band. You get your manager or whoever's representing your band, you go over this contract, and when it's done and signed and you're happy and they're happy, then I'll get back involved and book the studio and figure out what the art's going to look like. I just tried to distance myself as much as possible from that part of it, because for me it was more about friendship and community and music and being a musician and helping friends and helping other musicians and giving other people opportunities. So I kind of looked at it from a completely different perspective.
Right.
For me, it wasn't about maximizing sound scans or chart positions or any of the stuff that's the talk of business. For me, it was like, I'm going to help these guys. They're good dudes. I love their band. I really want to help them have a platform to be able to do what they do.
Right.
I would say, too, part of it was what I don't miss, and we talk about all the time, is, when a label is involved, like we were just talking about making this record, because Billy is producing and mixing our album, and it's like how nice it is the way we make albums now, where you don't have an executive producer or A&R guy, leaning, breathing down your neck of the producer going, I don't hear the single, and can you remix this part? And, and can you do that? And they're thinking about all these other things.
Where's the hook?
Right.
Which one are we taking to radio? I don't hear the radio song yet. And so it's like right now, like we don't even consider that. We're just making the music, we're making the album, and we have a concept. Like
Right.
so actually, nowadays, and music's made differently.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it used to cost, $1,000 a day in a recording studio, and giving a producer $30,000, although Billy would probably really like it if we gave him
Right.
$30,000. Giving a producer $30,000, and the stakes could not be higher. And so throw some 20-something kids into a recording studio where you're burning $1,000 a day, and go make art, guys. And
Right.
Just the tape alone, the analog 2-inch tape was like, just to buy enough tape to make a record was like $1,000.
There's thousands of dollars in tape. So everything's digital, and we can make an album at our pace. Like we have families and jobs and a life. And so, it's like, hey, let's record 2 songs. 2 songs are done. And then 3 weeks go by, and let's record 2 more songs. And so we're piecing down, this album. And nowadays releasing songs is different. You would work on a record for a year. You would like pick it apart and pick which song's going to get released, which one's going to radio, and you come up with the release schedule. And here's the one single we hear. Here's the thing we're going to do. And at the end of that, it's like, it's a year later, and the band's kind of different. Like even within that year, where nowadays, because of Spotify and Apple Music, Amazon, you're able to do what's called a waterfall approach, which is the approach that I'm taking with this, where we release one song every 6 weeks, and these songs are from the album, and so you're kind of getting a taste, especially for a new band.
Right.
Like I'm brand new. Yes, people know, the people who care know about my older band, but we're brand new, so you have no idea, like, what even is a Tenkiller? Like, what do you guys even sound like? So to be able to roll one single out at a time, which you guys know because you've graciously played every single, thank you so much.
Well, and let me ask you, because you brought this up. So the name Tenkiller, I associate it with Lake Tenkiller here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Is that the association?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a a love letter to us being from Oklahoma, or for Clint and I being from Oklahoma, and man, and it's just a cool sounding name.
It is. It's so, and if I can play PR for just 1 second, I know you guys are dying to hear my thoughts on this, but Tennessee Hills is a single. I mean, I've loved all the songs you have put out, but Tennessee Hills is the one I can't get out of my head. Like I can walk around and that song's just always in my head. I just absolutely love it.
Awesome.
So not that.
Well,
you
we've
guys
succeeded.
care.
We can quit. With one song playing over and over in your head, we're all set.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't
All
want
right.
to have that?
Excellent. So we're kind of back here, in the present. So what's the next single? And when are we looking at the full album to come out and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
In your estimation.
I don't know what the next single is going to be. We're at some point we'll stop releasing singles because we're going to release the full length. And the full length. So the concept is that you give people a taste of here's different songs that have a different feel, that have a different, to kind of piece together who we are, what we sound like like as a general. And then when we release the album, it's five other songs that are with that record. So I hope to have that record released by July if Bill can get his act together.
Seems like everything kind of hinges on you.
Well,
Billy.
right.
No pressure at all.
Yeah.
No, you don't just have to play the bass. You've got to like do everything else too, right?
And sing background harmonies and
So you're the producer, the PR guy, and all that
No,
stuff.
he does all the marketing.
Okay.
He famously makes fun of me because I have a total aversion to marketing, even though that's what I kind of done for my career is marketing. I really don't like doing it, and especially don't like doing it when it comes to my own personal things, to my detriment.
I actually have to make fun of him because it's like he's worked so hard with his band Spoken in Tongues, but he doesn't want to promote it to anyone or tell anyone that he's in it. I'm like, hey, man.
It's here. It's available. You're not interested? Okay.
I'm like, hey, Bill, you should reach out to a podcast of guys that you never talked to before and say, hey, maybe you should hear our music, and I don't know.
I'm
maybe
too
you should
busy
play
mixing Tenkiller songs to do that.
Okay,
that sounds familiar.
So I did want to start with so Spoken in Tongues, right? That's the name of their band?
Yes,
Bill?
sir.
Okay,
Yep.
so what's it? They have a new release out, new album out.
Yeah, we put out an EP called Awkward Feature, 5-song EP last year, but I've released 3 full-length records as that band. I did the first few records on my own. Like I wrote he was saying I wrote all the songs and I played everything but the drums on the records, bass,
Wow,
guitars.
okay.
And then when I moved back to Nashville 4 years ago, I got a group of guys together and I've been playing with them and we've done one full length together as that lineup. And then we did this new EP last year.
So are you guys looking at a tour?
I don't think we'll tour. I mean, all those guys in the other band are younger than me, and they all have kids and families and girlfriends and wives and all that kind of stuff. So we probably won't tour. But we've played.
Shoot, all the more reason to go on tour.
I know. You're right. You make a really good catch.
Hashtag truth.
Yeah. Well, we've done runs like we've played in Indiana and we've played in Atlanta and we've done some out of town shows just like we're doing with Tenkiller for this weekend. And Tenkiller's in a similar situation.
Okay, so what do you guys? So Tenkiller, we kind of know they're kind of the red dirt country.
Yeah.
Spoken in Tongues. What are we looking for there? Like more of a punk outfit?
Kind of more like Mike's old bands, just that kind of very guitar heavy, melodic singing. Kind of the comparison that most people seem to know is like a Jimmy Eat World or
okay,
kind of like
gotcha.
90s heavy guitar but melodic singing kind of.
Right.
Rock music.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, excellent. Just kind of wanted to get everybody in there. And now I know Paige Turner will be interested in this. So you play bass.
Yes,
so
sir.
some of us Potiverse geeks just want to know what type of bass do you play and that sort of thing.
Well, it's kind of funny because when I was in my old band, I was in a band called Blenderhead that was on Tooth and Nail, and I sang and played bass in that band. And my band in high school, I played bass and sang. I've only played bass. And I just started playing guitar and spoken in tongues, and I'm a marginal guitar player at best. I had the same bass. I had a Jackson bass that I was playing, and we were on tour, and in Texas it broke, and I had to get another bass, and we didn't have very much money at the time. We needed to put gas in the van and whatever we're on the road, and so I bought a Fernandez kind of knockoff bass. That I had played literally ever since. Like I've had it so long that it was like, there's like kind of patina on the tuning pegs.
Oh, wow.
And I'd use it to do all my demos and to do everything. And
Do you have any sad violin music that you can play?
Actually, I have to say, because you bring up Fernandez, I believe that's what Billy Joe Armstrong plays. That Baby Blue
could be.
I think that guitar that they kind of got famous with, it was a Fernandez Stratocaster knockoff.
Well, I always wanted a Fender P bass, so finally I used this excuse to be in Tenkiller to buy a Fender Player Series.
Oh, wow.
I didn't go all the way. Like it's the most. I would joke with Mike that it's the most money I've always bought very budget kind of instruments, just because the kind of shows I play are in very close quarters and things can get easily damaged, and I'm clumsy, and I'm like, I can't justify buying like a multi-$1,000 instrument that I'm going to knock over and break the headstock or like whatever. So
And you're definitely going to knock it over.
I definitely, I already have actually knocked this bass over a couple times.
And I think that's what Flea moved to as well, as he's playing the P bass.
Yeah. So I just play a Fender. It was like a limited edition blue color. You'll see it later if you're at the show.
We will definitely be there.
Excellent, yeah. And of course, again, the Potiverse geeks who listen to our show, just 4 strings, not 5.
Just 4.
Yeah.
I'm not fancy.
And so I wanted to ask this. So if someone wants to get in touch with Tenkiller about anything at all, what's the best way? Is it at Tenkiller Band on Instagram? Do you guys have a website?
We're very easy to be found. We have a website at tenkillermusic.com.
Okay.
Or we're on every social platform, like every single one of them. So
okay.
I've cast the wide net. So if there's any Turnpike Troubadours or Canadian Ragweed, any of you guys out there want to take us on tour, call us up. Let's go.
Yeah. John Moreland, Zach Bryan, we're waiting for the call.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so,
we're big John Moreland fans.
Yeah.
I discovered him because of Billy, actually. He's like, hey, here's an Oklahoma boy, you should like him. And he sent it to me, and I fell in love with that guy instantly. Probably the greatest voice, lyrics. His Visitor record. I was just telling someone the other day, with everything that's happening in the country and all the stress and all the things that are going on.
Right.
When I get stressed out by what's happening, I just put on that Visitor album, and it just like melts away with John Moreland's voice.
And that's what I love about what you guys do, your music. That's what it does for me. I have a pretty stressful job. I am a nurse. I take care of kids that have attempted suicide and things like that.
Oh, wow. I
So
didn't
I
know
have
that.
That's awesome.
I have a pretty stressful job every day, and that's what I enjoy about this podcast with Justin. Getting the chance to listen to your guys' music is I hate to say an escape, but it's an escape, right? So I'm driving into work and I notice that, like, if I have the news on, it just ruins my day.
Yeah.
But if I drive in and I'm listening to the breakup song or whatever, I have a much better day. So,
You're like, I want to go home and break up.
Yeah.
I can't wait to break up.
No,
they make it sound great.
It's just, it makes me just, I have been looking so forward to sitting down with you gentlemen, with Clint and Ian and Billy and you. And it's just, because I appreciate what you guys do. And I think there's other people out there too, that your music means more to them than you may ever know. And so
I really appreciate that. We call those suckers.
One's born every minute. That's what
right.
I hear.
That's the word.
No, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to make light of that.
No.
I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for saying
Hey, and for all you suckers in Tulsa, let's get out to
Let's
Thelma
go.
Peach
Thelma's
tonight.
Peach. Thelma's Peach. Here
Yeah.
we go. Come on, So I just wanted to ask you kind of a little bit more personal level. So again, because our podcast, we cover, cigars and pipes and pairings, like which cigar with which bourbon or rum or beer
Yeah.
or whatever. So I don't know if you guys even smoke at all. And if you do, you're welcome to say, but I was going to say like maybe your favorite beer or favorite, just something like that. So, because it's those little details we care very much about.
Sure. Yeah. So so back in in my past life,
Okay.
I'll say it that way. I definitely went through a whole cigar and pipe smoking phase. My brother is really into it.
Yeah, I mean,
and I
tell me
actually tried to get him to come up here because he could talk brands and
Uh-huh.
and he's always trying to get me go to one of the rooms in Oklahoma to smoke cigars. The problem is I'm slowly kind of losing my voice, so it's not great for your voice. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
I can't do that. But back in the day, I love the smell of pipe tobacco more than it's such an amazing smell, and so I wanted that so bad. And I don't know. There's like the allure and fantasy of Hemingway, and and it's like.
Oh, Justin's favorite.
Yeah, there's a cigar like that everyone loves that I don't love, and they've been giving me a lot of grief about that ever since we started the podcast. There's a Hemingway cigar that everyone just fell in love with, and I'm like, it wasn't so much. And like, Justin, you're so wrong for that.
Well, my wife and I went to Key West not too long ago, and we toured his house, and we went to the bar. There's a famous bar down there that he would he said he like said he pissed away like thousands of dollars in the toilet or something. Is a famous line that he said. But it's like he has a little writing room, still kind of has that smell to it, and
Oh wow, yeah, because he loved his cigars.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy now? Either like maybe a brew or coffee you love or something like that?
Well, I live in whiskey country. So,
excellent.
So I drink whiskey, and what's funny, for a good part of my life, I never touched whiskey in my life. I drank beer, vodka, whatever. But as time has gone on, my sister-in-law works for TX Whiskey out of
TX. I love their stuff.
Yeah, out of Texas, and so. When I come to town, I work for Bison Coolers, and when I go to town and I stay at their house, all they will let me drink is TX. And so after a while, you just like I just acquired this taste. And then being from Nashville, living in Nashville, Tennessee, we're down the street from Jack Daniel's, and we're down the street from Dickel. We're down. There's so much whiskey, and then obviously Kentucky's 2.5 hours away. So I've just had I've adopted, but I've actually started to learn all the different differences of them. And then as people have come in, and Bill and I have taken a lot of tours, and seen how everyone does it. And there's a new one, Nearest Green. Has a massive facility that they built. It's like the Disney of whiskey distillers. But I've just come to appreciate it, and now I can't shake it, and now it's kind of a problem.
Yeah. And you guys are kind of there in the heart in Nashville. You guys you have a lot going on because, like you said, you've got the bourbons and whiskeys and obviously the music scene for sure. But the cigar scene is huge in Nashville. We get a lot of people that they call themselves this tri-state herf crew right there. And they've got tons of members and just a great bunch of guys. And I told them, I said, you guys need to reach out to Tenkiller because that should be the theme song. Tennessee
They do.
Hills.
Yeah.
They do. What's the deal, guys?
Yeah. So Bill,
that should be
I don't
the
want to
theme
leave you
song.
out. What do you, if you smoke or
Oh
your
yeah,
favorite brew or
it's
whatever?
funny. I was just waiting to jump on mic here because it's pretty funny. I smoked for years, but cigarettes, and I gave up, so smoking's out for me.
Gotcha.
But I was a pretty serious drinker and a very serious drinker of whiskeys until this year. And I actually, now my joke is I drink, but only in Ireland is my new rule. So I've given up the drink, but Mike was the beneficiary of me emptying out my bar at my house.
Oh, wow.
Or I donated to him a few pretty spendy nearest green single barrel and some other stuff. But when I was drinking, I really liked nearest green actually, and George Dickel. Yeah, there was a drink called the Dickel Drop, which I think is funny. That was like Sun Drop soda and George Dickel whiskey. But yeah, we did a lot of the tours and went to a lot of the places, and I liked a lot of stuff. I did really like Irish whiskey a lot, Powers whiskey, not biased because it's my name, but I Powers whiskey, the Irishman. There was a whiskey called the Irishman that I got when I was in Ireland the last time that was really great. Yeah, and I still like the the Guinness no alcohol I've been drinking, and it's actually quite good.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
the non-alcoholic beers.
So aren't you guys glad you had us on your smoking?
Well, you'd be surprised because kind of, I don't know if the music community is like this, but the podcast community and the cigar community for sure has been very, very just outstanding for us. Like we have a friend that's not far from you guys in Georgia, and he does a podcast on spirits. His name's Jason, the Dram Amateur, so I'll have to tell him about the newest.
I do have a Nashville smoking tip for the cigar thing. There's a guy, Josh Stump, that's a former pastor that we know that runs a place called Smokers Abbey in East Nashville. That's a hot spot for that.
Yeah, I think I've seen them on
in
Instagram.
a cool area.
Yeah. And like I said, Nashville, and you guys aren't too far from Chattanooga either, right? Couple hours.
Close.
Yeah. And it seems like those are the two hot spots for bourbon and cigars and music. So
the bass player in Spoken in Tongues is the head of sales for Chattanooga whiskey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, wow.
So it all comes together somehow.
Yeah, see it all.
We have a lot of alcohol relationships, and we're playing Jack Daniel's May 9th. So we're so we just keep I don't know. We keep getting mixed.
I picked the wrong time to stop drinking.
You did.
That's what I heard.
You did.
Hey.
Twitter.
And now we do have Clint here. I don't know if you want to come over and say anything. You're more than welcome to.
Clint.
Yeah.
Clint
is so he is less than enthusiastic, shall we say?
Yeah. And is this Ian? Is Ian here as well?
No. Ian's out with a friend.
Okay.
So he's like the nicest guy in the world, and somehow he randomly knows somebody in every city. So.
Hey, that's great. Well, I'm not sure who you are.
That's Mark from Chainsaw Kittens.
Oh, hey, nice to meet you, Mark.
That's Mark Mexer. He played in Chainsaw Kittens, but he's in Commander Pilot, who opened up.
You guys played last night. I saw some stuff on social media. Sounded great. Wish we could have been there. Wish you guys were playing in Tulsa. Maybe that'll happen soon.
I actually had to apologize to him because I was like, I didn't even think to have you play on the bill. I'm a bad friend, but we did come here just to recruit him to come play in our band.
Okay.
Awesome.
So now, are you going to play with him tonight at Thelma's? Okay, well, look, I'm trying to help Mike get a new PR guy here.
There you go.
So before we even came in here tonight, we were kind of standing outside the hotel and stuff. And guys, you would just be surprised in our communities and stuff how stuff overlaps. Because I was, because out of the blue, I just pointed and said, MXPX, and then there was already a connection there. And I want Paige to come on in here because I also mentioned, because he mentioned that some of the Christian rock bands and he was a part of, and I said, okay, how about Audio Adrenaline? What does that do? And tell me what you said.
I know Mark, the singer who has a Haiti, a charity in Haiti, and they have got a whole I think it's called Hands and Feet. is the name of that charity.
Yeah, he works in Jacmel, Haiti, which is on the southern coast, and it's also with Tina Eustache. And when I was young and growing up in the Caribbean, when Mark was just out of high school.
Wait a minute, you grew up in the Caribbean?
Yes.
What are you doing in Tulsa?
I mean,
That's a story.
Wait,
Okay, go back to episode 23, and you'll understand how I got to Tulsa and to how I got to here tonight.
let's leave the Caribbean and move to Tulsa.
oh boy.
So no, growing up in the Caribbean, my parents and Mark's parents worked together.
Oh, cool.
And I grew up with a sister and Mark, and I've not been in contact in quite a while with them, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the work he does is incredible. So, and he's and especially nowadays because he's doing it in the hardest conditions, and Americans can't even go to Haiti right now. So.
No, and then he lost his voice and everything else, and then I don't know if Audio Adrenaline is still recording or not, but they basically shut down, and then they did a reboot. And last I checked, they hadn't put an album out in a few years, but
Yeah,
I like Audio Adrenaline.
And so I wanted to ask, because as we were asking you to be so gracious if you would play something for us here shortly, the Gretsch you play, absolutely love that Gretsch guitar. I see Clint over there with it. Is Brian Setzer at all? Is that any sort of influence on you?
No, I mean, honestly, I have another guitar that, I mean, sorry, they don't sponsor me, so I can say whatever I want. But my Guild guitar sounds better,
okay.
I think,
yeah.
in general. And I don't mind outing myself to say I bought that guitar because it looks cool.
It does. I mean, it's a beautiful guitar. But you know what? I've heard a lot, and RR said just recently he got a Guild guitar, and just a lot of praise. And he
has a nicer. I mean, he has a really nice one. Mine's the OK one. So I've really tried to, in order to take my art to the next level, is buy the most mediocre, lower level, cheapest equipment.
Okay,
possible.
hey, it's good enough for the Goo Goo Dolls.
Right,
it's good enough for Tenkiller.
See, we have that in common at least.
Yeah, exactly.
So, do you guys know what the next single is going to be? Are you keeping it a secret? Have you recorded it?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's. I don't know.
I think Chesapeake could be the last single.
Okay.
But we might want to save that.
We'll say that's a tentative single.
Yeah.
Tentative.
Sure.
We're playing it tonight, so you can tell.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Just pick out the song you like tonight.
Yeah. So which one has been the hardest so far to record? Are they all have their own
Alibi.
challenges? For some reason, it's a song called Alibi, but it's because of bleed over microphone issues.
It's really loud and has very bombastic guitars, and the hi-hat, the cymbals he's been using have been great, but it was causing it. No one cares about this. But we have to re-record the drums for a third time. Just so you know.
No, you would be surprised. Our listeners were Smoking Sounds, and so it's a lot of these details that they will comment and ask us about. So what did he say about? Did they ever fix that?
The hi-hat's too washy.
Yeah. See,
And our solution that Mike found on the internet is we're going to try to put a toilet paper roll over the microphone on the snare. That's supposed to fix it. So it's Questlove approved. So we think we're onto something.
Yeah, well, and we just had one of our we're on Instagram Live here, and one of our subscribers or people watching, our friend Alan Wolf, Howlin' with Big Al. There's a cigar brand in Nashville, Crown Heads, and John, the owner, is huge music. Like, he just did a cigar called Eruption for Eddie Van Halen and stuff. So he said it's definitely, we need to get Tenkiller hooked up, and we've reached out to John to have him on with us. Hopefully April 30th.
John, come on, man.
Yeah.
So we are going to support Tenkiller and talk about you any and every way that we can.
We appreciate it.
Because we absolutely, look, I'm so glad that we got connected, and I absolutely love your music. And do you feel like playing something?
Oh, man, it's so much pressure.
Do it, Mike.
We hate to put you on the spot. If not, I know you've got to save your
I tell you
voice.
what,
Right.
so I'll try to do it, but you may have to cut it out of the episode if it sucks.
Okay, if it sucks, I'll try to cut it out.
Yeah.
I'm not the. I might have to call Billy to help me edit it out because.
Billy.
I'm on my third drum take, so I don't know how.
Well, hey.
I'm gonna be. I can give you a nice roll of toilet paper to put on there, though.
Yeah.
We should. Can you use AI to fix whatever I do?
Sure, I will lie to you and tell you I can.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Guitar Tech.
That's right.
Wow, that does look cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, the guitar technician has handed him his guitar.
So Clint's basically it's Clint and I's band. We're musical partners, business partners.
Yeah. And so
on it.
Clint, you were in For Love Not Lisa as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah. Clint was in For Love and Lisa, and he was in the Chainsaw Kittens with Mark. And
Wow.
He lives about an hour and a half from me in Alabama. That sounds like it's really far, but it's
No, it's not. Yeah.
but it's very close. And so it's taken us a long time to get to this point. We got together 10 years or 11 years ago to write our first song, and then we never did anything else. And then, full disclosure, my mom passed away, and so that's what got me to start writing music again.
Wow, okay.
So
sorry for your loss. I
Sorry
understand,
about
but,
that, man.
Yeah,
I do have to get my daughter a Chainsaw Kittens t-shirt though, because she would absolutely love it. Just
Dude,
the
you
name is
should.
killer. So anyway, but so just whatever you want to do, we'd be more than happy. You do as much as little as you'd like.
yeah, I've never done this before, so I've never on the spot. I mean, obviously, I play on a.
I was gonna say, you've never played guitar on the mic and sang before. Okay.
Not,
I know.
Not where someone's sitting right across the way.
We've been using an avatar up to this point.
Up to this point, okay.
So this is I'll play because it's the only song I can remember the lyrics, hopefully. But I have lyricosis. So this is a song that we recorded with Michael today.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he
Oh,
did-
it's exclusive. Yes.
Yeah.
Exclusive
So
right here we go.
So R.R. Williams, for your listeners, did the guest vocal spot on this. It's actually how we got connected with him to even play with us for these shows. So, I reached out and said, hey, love your stuff, love your voice. Could you sing on this song? This is a song. It's called Terror, and it's about. It's a metaphor about tornadoes. Basically uprooting your life and basically, that you never know where something's going to come up and challenge you. And so, anyway, that was too much. That was too much words.
That's all right.
Too many words.
It's all right. Here we go.
Wild winds are blowing, I can't stand the rain. Soak my head in the excess, left me dumb and blind. Dark skies are building a telegraph for sound. There's a terror that's coming in the sky above the ground. Got no time to linger, the devil's at the door. Set your horses free, the shelter can't help them anymore. Your words no longer comfort me, I'm broken, falling down. There's terror that's coming in the sky above the house. Set my eyes upon you, but my faith has failed to find. No use for the witness, I've confessed of all the crimes. Repair my heart for aching, this house is coming down. Set your eyes on the rising, there's a storm cloud gathering around. My sword and my shield, they're no use to me now. There's terror that's forming in the sky above us now. Whoa, whoa, oh,
Wow.
Hey, all right.
That was excellent, man.
Look at that.
I tell you what, I got goosebumps listening to you play that.
That is awesome.
Those are extra.
I'll leave a couple of dollar bills on the table here before we leave. But thank you so much for doing that. I almost dropped my phone because I just got so. I mean, that was amazing. And it sounded great in this little hotel room. I don't know if that was just me.
I'm
or,
just glad I could watch his hand doing the chords because I fully botched that song last night. and to the point that he was like, C, it's C. So like now I got a little refresher course on how the chord
we got you a
progression
front
goes
row
there.
seat to the assignment for tonight.
Yeah.
Such a relief.
So now, is that a song that you wrote?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a great song. So I'll ask, did you have an experience with the tornado, or was there something behind that, or?
Yeah, I mean, when I was, my grandfather was a farmer in Guthrie, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And a tornado hit the family house, and they actually had to move to town.
Yeah.
So they, a lot of farmers lived on their land back then. But it was also with my mom passing away, and then I should say that the drummer from Polar, Jeff Riley, passed away about five months ago. It was just during that time. It's like I just felt like here's all this stuff that just keeps coming, and so I don't know. I just sat down and wrote that song one day, and the minute that I wrote the song, it's like, man, I really like this to be on the record and be part of the thing, basically to also honor Jeff, because he was such an incredible drummer and friend and musician. My whole music life, there was, his last name was Riley, Jeff Riley, but and his brother Chris Riley, one of those guys were on the tour on the road with us. So my whole music career was connected to the Riley brothers, and so to lose him, and he's very young, so him passing away, it was hard. But and there should be a plaque. There should be a somewhere in the folklore of Oklahoma musicians, Jeff. People should be celebrating Jeff. So he inspired that song, and so I strong armed the band and said, hey, I want to do this song and put it on the record.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, because the tornadoes and stuff, it becomes like a metaphor of kind of unforeseen tragedy, just like boom, 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 and that's awesome. That is just awesome.
And it helps. It's part of your grieving process, right? I mean, it helps you kind of remember those good times and kind of get you to be able to pour some of that emotions into just a beautiful song. And thank you so much for playing that for us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and
Appreciate
I hope it's like that sad little country song.
Hey, so let me ask you. So, about how long does it take for you to write that? Is that something that came to you quick, or was it like?
I mean, the writing process is an odd one. That in particular, I think the lyrics came first, and I was like, I need to write a song with this. But a lot of the songs that Clint will send me guitar riffs, and I'll say I've got an idea, based on his guitar riff. A lot of times, what Clint will do is he'll record like all these guitar parts that don't equal a song yet, and then I'll take it and I go, hey, this is awesome. It just needs a chorus and it's a song. And so then, in a lot of cases, our songwriting process is like I send songs to him, he sends songs to me. We kind of switch things up, and a lot of times, like I really need a collaborator. I can't be left, to my own devices. And even sometimes Clint will correct my grammar and go, no, you can't say it that way. That's not proper English. So
Justin does that to me too. I still can't say Pierre Noir or whatever that fancy wine stuff is, but
Pinot Noir.
yeah, that one. But so is there a lot of like text messages exchanges at 2-3 o'clock in the morning? Do you ever get inspired like in your sleep?
Oh no, Clint is in bed. No.
He's very tired.
He's asleep. He's a father, and very sleepy.
Yes. It's like 9:30 comes around, and you're like, it's time to punch out for the day.
Yeah.
There's definitely a time that if I send him text, I won't hear from him until the next day.
Says Clint has notifications silenced.
Yeah. Excellent.
But yeah, so we want to remind everybody that you're watching on Instagram with us, especially in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area. Tonight, Thelma's Peach, you are going to get a great show with Emily. I almost said- Davis.
Yeah.
Such a great last name, and I just keep forgetting it. R.R. Williams and the band Tenkiller with Mike and Billy, Ian and Clint. It's going to be a fantastic show. Doors at 8, show at 9, 15 at the door, I believe is what it is. So make sure you get out.
I think it's $1,000.
It is now.
Yeah.
After
Okay,
that
it is now.
performance, it should be.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone will gladly pay that to get in to see you guys tonight. Justin, what else you got for him?
Well, I appreciate you guys taking time. Let us come and just get you here before the show, and we've wanted to kind of have a talk with you guys for so long, and again, I would just say I'm just amazed at everywhere we go, like with RR and now with you guys. It's like everybody's connected. You just don't know how, like, quite yet. I mean, we were standing out there talking about the bands we knew, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we know that, that it just comes around and around again. I'm just amazed at that. And like you were saying earlier about how the music business changed, I think we're seeing a whole lot more of that, where everybody's just kind of in this community now. It's not just go to the record company, go off by yourself, and here comes the magic CDs coming down or whatever. It's a lot more community now than I think it ever was. And
I mean, that's also how shows get booked. Is it takes a community. It's like you're a friend of a friend, and I know this guy, and when you're piecing things together, especially when you're out of town, you're like, I mean, we needed RR to book Tulsa. I couldn't book that on my own. So and then our friends from Commander Pilot are playing in Oklahoma City, and that's how everyone kind of works together. And I heard that Commander Pilot's flying out to Nashville to come play some shows there too. So
I heard that as well.
That's what I heard.
I heard that.
Yep.
I saw it
Another
on
hot take right there.
there you go. Look at that. Smoking Sounds right here on it.
I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah. So I do have to announce something real quick, because we had a gentleman on our last episode, Mr. Jay Furman, a great guy out of Long Island, New York, and we have some guys. I want to read this real quick. Wood and Waters Manufacturing Group. They're veteran owned and operated. They're the creators of the 1150 cigar pick. Enjoy your cigar to the last draw at Wood and Water on Instagram. So Jay bought some of their cigar picks. I almost said guitar picks because of you guys playing. But and so he thought, well, I want to do a Veterans Day in April giveaway. And so we have friends, Bryce at Silent Hero Cigars, the War Dog Vets, LCA Cigars. So there's several people included in this. But so Jay did a giveaway. We had a lot of people enter, and at Florida Tactical was the winner. I have to announce that. So congratulations. We'll post that also. He will be getting a nice Veterans Day in April package from Jay. But I do want to ask you, because you guys do know cigars, if someone is listening right now and they're going to be enjoying a cigar later, what's the first song from Tenkiller that you would suggest that they listen to enjoy that cigar with? I'm going to say Tennessee Hills.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a lot about, running moonshine. So
Yeah.
My pick is Breakup Song.
Breakup Song is a great one.
Either one's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say Tennessee Hills also, because it just has that vibe for, a back porch cigar kind of thing to me, and yeah, it's great.
Well, I'll say this.
Okay.
The best advice that I can give is listen to Tennessee Hills on Spotify. Then go to your neighbor's house, grab their phone, listen to Tennessee Hills on Spotify. Go to your friend's house, grab his phone, listen to Tennessee, because we'll get paid for it.
Right. So let me ask you.
3 cents.
That'll, yeah.
Well, and so
and at some point that'll equal pennies.
as artists, because you guys are artists, and not to get into financial, but do you prefer one streaming service over the other for people to listen to your music on? I mean, I know the simple answer is we don't care as long as people are listening to us, but do you prefer people to listen to Spotify or Apple? Does it really?
Billy prefers Apple Music, but I prefer Spotify for selfish reasons.
Okay.
That the industry uses Spotify streams to judge how well you're doing.
Okay.
And even like if you're booking a show, the first thing they want is send us your Instagram. Let me see how many followers you have. Send us your, Spotify, and the other platforms don't have a way to gauge it. So you can't really tell how many people are listening. So I like Spotify because it actually has a number,
right?
And it's something, analytically we can say that a promoter goes, oh, actually, this song's getting some good streams, and that's part of playing the game, whether people like it or not. But if you don't have a record label, you have to do it. You got to market bands.
Right, and it's the same way in podcasting. We're just we have an opportunity we got connected with Santo Tequila, who's owned by Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar, and that's what they're asking us. For us to be able to book these guys. Send us your Spotify numbers. What is your Apple podcast? So I have to go in and send them our analytics and stuff. So I understand your reasoning 100%. And I appreciate you sharing that with us and our audience. Because
well, I mean, just to recap, listen to Tennessee Hills on your phone. Go grab your friend's phone.
Yeah, and
just kidding.
And then listen to the breakup song.
Then listen to the breakup song,
and then. It's Christmas in July almost. Listen to the Christmas song. We'll just keep it going. It's just from neighbor to neighbor to neighbor.
Just keep going, and in just day-to-day conversation when you're like at work and say, hey, I'll get you that report. But have you listened to Tennessee Hills yet on Spotify?
Because I do play you. So at work, we just have like a Windows computer, and I have a Spotify thing pulled up on it. And so us and the kids, we all love music, and we've listened to a number of your songs multiple times, and that's the good thing is I can play it, for kids and things like that. So
awesome.
You just know that your music is doing more for people than you probably ever thought it would, and I mean that in a most positive way I can say it. So
appreciate it.
I'm going to end our little Instagram live here because I want to make sure that we are able to.
Because everyone clicked off.
No, they're still there, but
okay.
And I got to share it so. But I know you guys also got to get ready for your show.
So we need to.
Well, so Matt, Justin, what do you got to?
Well,
we
again,
get out here?
I kind of said it a minute ago, but again, thank you guys for taking the time. I know there's a lot to do, and you're like in the midst of show to show and all that. So definitely appreciate letting us kind of bust in your hotel room and kind of do this thing that we do. And by the way, we're talking about you guys. You say, "Oh, I don't smoke," and you're on the smoking sounds. Well, Paige Turner doesn't smoke either, and she's been a big part of we're like on episode 42,
something like that.
And she's been a part of this since episode 23. I don't know why she keeps coming back, but she doesn't smoke either.
Yeah.
So, but here
Hang
we go.
in there, Paige.
Well, so for you guys, if we forgot anything, you guys want to mention anything? Again, I think it's at Tenkiller Band on Instagram.
Sure.
And tenkillermusic.com. Billy, what do you got?
I'm just grateful to have the opportunity, and thank you so much.
Well, hey, thank you.
Hope to see you at a show. Check out the music, and that's it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, Clint, thank you. You're obviously part of this. We wish we would have got you on the mic, but we are very excited to see you perform tonight.
He loves to talk.
Oh, I can tell.
He's saving up all his energy.
There
for
you
his
go.
performance.
There you go, man.
So now are you the lead guitar player? Is that fair to say? In Tenkiller, so he's got to save up all that.
Oh, you'll see.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
So, well, Mike, thank you again for connecting with us. Thank you for the Bison Cooler tumblers and cocktail glasses and things. We just absolutely love that. And
Sponsored by Bison Coolers.
get yours at bisoncoolers.com. I don't know if that's our website, but we're going to pretend like it is. So.
Definitely, you wanna search for that first to make sure it's Bison Coolers. But yeah, it's just a tremendous thing y'all are doing with that, and yeah, this is just, again, it just kind of all comes back around. You know,
Yep.
It all comes back around to, you know, it's like everybody's connected. The community's connected either through music or cigars or both or whiskey or, you know, tumblers or what have you.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I'm excited.
There you go. That's a wrap for this episode of Smoking Sounds. We hope you have enjoyed the blend of cigars, pipes, and Tenkiller music that we shared today. Thank you for tuning in and being part of our community. If you like what you heard, hey, follow us at Smoking Sounds Pod. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a beat or a draw. Hey, and if you're feeling extra generous, leave us 5 stars. That just helps other people find the show. And so until next time, keep your cigars lit, your pipes packed, and your sounds
Smoking.
It's okay to need someone. It's okay to need someone. You could lean on me. You're not selling it very